You know, we have generations in this nation, and they're talked about openly in the media. Well, this is the baby boomer generation, and this is Generation X, and this is Generation Y. So people are divided along generation lines as well. One of the things I noticed when I was on my honeymoon about, 2 years ago, I was on a honeymoon. And we went to the Virgin Islands, and I would ask them there because I'm already thinking, yeah, I knew where everything was going. Maybe when the shit hits a fan, I'll go to the Virgin Islands. So I'm asking the locals there, so what's it like living here in the Virgin Islands? You know, where do you get your food from? How much does that cost to get a house, and so on? And obviously, an inevitable question is, what do you do when a hurricane comes? What do you do when a hurricane comes? You're on a freaking island out here in the middle of the ocean. And they said, well, you know, obviously we have shelters. And he said, the first thing we do is round up the elderly and make sure that they're safe. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, because they have knowledge. They have wisdom. Right now, our culture is subsisting off of information that is trickled out by the slave masters. Nobody wants to listen to what their grandfather says or what their grandmother says. Oh, those are just old people. They're senile. They have Alzheimer's. They have Parkinson's. Put them in a home. Get rid of them. Forget about them. That's the way they want you to think. Resentment between the generations. And it goes the other way. Old people shouldn't listen to that young whippersnapper. You shouldn't listen to these kids. Kids nowadays are this or that or the other thing. They divide us along lines of age. But in these civilizations that are self-sufficient, because that's what I found out about the Virgin Islands, they don't import any food. They grow it all there. The water trickles down off of the mountains. They don't import bottled water and drink it out of plastic bottles like a bunch of stupid fat Americans. And when a hurricane comes, they don't say, screw the old people. They round up the knowledge. They round up the wisdom, and they preserve it because they respect it. They respect the things that truly matter. Where our culture is debased to a point where they're puking on each other on stage, projecting it into every household. And the message is, you're worthless. People are worthless, useless maggots who should just be puked on. You deserve cancer. You deserve the Fukushima radiation. You deserve to starve. You deserve to be poor. You deserve to never be happy. You deserve to slave and toil in the fields for all of the days of your life because you're just a lowly peasant. That's the message projected to you by your slave masters. But in other cultures, it's the exact opposite. And, you know, when we're on our honeymoon and we're like going to go snorkeling somewhere or whatever, we took a cruise ship, and, you know, the cruise ship, parks at the, well, it didn't even make it to the harbor. It's such a big ship. It parks offshore, and then you take a smaller boat to get to the shore. And then you get on a bus. And the bus takes you to the location where you're going to do snorkeling or whatever. And when you're on the bus, you're driving, you know, even outside of the little port harbor or whatever, going by all of the shanty. Not even a shanty town. There's just a little shanty hut here and a little shanty hut there. And the impression is, man, these people got it bad. These people are poor. These people, they have nothing. Certainly they didn't have a furnace or air conditioning. I don't even know that they had running water. But if you understand the state of this nation, I would say they have more than anyone here has. They had an honorable culture. They spoke to one another. They knew their neighbors. They didn't need heating. They were in the Virgin Islands. They didn't need air conditioning. They were born there, raised there. They got used to the heat. And they appreciated the shade. In America, people are stuck up in their houses, and the hardest part of their day in Florida is when they have to go to the mailbox and back. And just walk into the end of the driveway to get to the mailbox, they're sweating. And they get back in their house and they're like, oh, it's so hot out there. Thank goodness I have air conditioning. They're not going to have air conditioning when the slave master flips the switch. They're not going to have heat in the snow belt when the slave master flips the switch. They're already doing power outage drills. And drills are always done for a reason. In other words, the city's doing the drill in order to assure that when they actually carry out the operation, its own infrastructure stays intact. And why are they doing this? Because they don't care about you. And when they do it, what are you going to do? Because there ain't nobody in America that's going to go around and gather up the elderly and make sure they're in a safe place to preserve that knowledge and wisdom. In America, it's going to be every man for himself. You might get through 3 days of, oh, this is novel, this is interesting, this is neat. By the time people eat what little food is in their cupboards, and their bellies start growling, and their children start crying because they're hungry, they're going out and they're going to find food, even if it's your food. They're not going to feed their children leaves or grass. That's the future of America. And these people that live in cities like New York City, I don't understand how they can do it. Because you are literally on death row. You're on death row. Just because the electricity is still pumping or the gas is still pumping into your house or your apartment now. I mean, you realize you're already on life support. That's life support. If you live in New York City, you're on life support. The electricity is life support. The gas line is life support. The food supply chain is life support. The information about what food is supposed to be delivered where, when, is another life support. Even if that's taken out, but the trucks still work, the food's not going to get delivered. All right. I'm like way off track here, so let's have another quick break in order that people might come to see the situation they're already in.
So why don't all you little idiots press your faces up against the speakers and blow your brains out?
Chip to insert in your neck like an animal. Let me slow it down so you can comprehend it. I got the undebunkable proof. Still a soldier. Elementary puzzle. Not a complicated riddle. They got you talking about guns, diamonds, and bitches. Elementary puzzle, not a complicated riddle. I don't think you understand the severity of the situation. Atomic bomb blast brought to you by Comcast. Recorded on DVR so you can press rewind fast. Virtual combat, prepping you for mission soon. Practicing on civilians while you're chilling in your living room. Identical to real life, except for the men you kill for real when you get sent to kill in real life. Animation done so realistically. When you see the true battlefield on the screen, you think the shit was done by Disney. They pixelated the perception of a generation, mesmerized the multitudes with handy little innovations. Gave them convenient means to love their own incarceration, non-invasive ways that they can track and trace and database them. And if you ain't prepared to get your Vera chip, there's a list for you in which you'll be labeled a terrorist. Indeed, 200,000 heartless mercenary forces are back from Iraq to take orders from their bosses.
Wake the fuck up from your slumber. This is not a joke, nor is it a test. Wake the fuck up from your slumber. I got the undebunkable proof. It's all written down in black and white. The plans to control you. Wake the fuck up, wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up from your slumber.
The English language was fabricated by cannibals to better make the human animal understand the rules. The alphabet got you under a spell that is magical. You've been possessed ever since your first day of grammar school. Easily programmable by your controllers. Education developed by devils, divine molders. It don't take long to get you under the spell and square off your head another brick into the well. Child protection services run by child molesters, cheaters, wife beaters, and leaders of wild fiestas. The heads of university used to favor men openly and walk around naked in the gymnasium. Today you send your children off alone to be with them. Good old boy clubs like the Bohemian is where you'll see them in. You better learn about your enemy with urgency instead of exerting all your energy on absurdity.
Wake the fuck up from your slumber. This is not a joke, nor is it a test. Wake the fuck up from your slumber. I got the undebunkable proof. Wake the fuck up from your slumber.
They got you talking about guns, diamonds, and bitches.
Wake the fuck up, let them make you a slave. Wake the fuck up from your slumber. Wake the fuck up. I'm here to break away the chains, take away the pain. Wake the fuck up from your slumber. It's all written down in black and white. The plans to control you.